Hi. In a few seconds I'm going to start. Meanwhile, good evening to everyone. Thank you for being with us. I would like to thank also. That was with my lovely picture, and then stop PowerPoint. I'm going to do this with this device. It's easy. I'm very pleased to be with you tonight, and very thankful to the guys from Better Competition, especially to Alexandra, for giving me this opportunity to share some of my works related to the competition we were judging of. Something is wrong, no? Meanwhile, I'm gonna share something with you, trying to explain, to show you how wonderful architecture is. What does it mean? It's something like this. Adrian, I met you far earlier than yesterday because I was in Venice Biennale and I spent half of my staying over there in front of your work without knowing you. And then it was so astonished for me, and I was very pleased, and somehow life showed us a better side, and I met you yesterday. So I'm very happy that we will have a chance to speak about your work. Balázs, don't worry, I like you too as well. And your picture is really wonderful. I mean, this movie, and before we started, some moments ago, we three of us were speaking about how architecture is complex. It's wonderful. It's giving us a lot of opportunities to be designer, developer, even car maker, painter, sculptures, and the others. Meanwhile, there is one thing more I would like to share with you, because I work a lot. A friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, gave me some years ago this present and say, okay, just for a second, she said, I suppose you can see this. She said, okay, you are working as a maniac, you're loving your profession, so show to everyone that architects never sleeps. I see the young guys here, hopefully they are going to be an architect after studies. If you are not learned till now, what is it about, you'll never sleep while you're doing the architecture. So, let me start with my lecture. It's going to be presenting some of the projects done in our office. Birovia means Vojvodic Architects, and I'm going to remove I'm not so in love with myself. It's starting from the previous lecture I've done, and I'm going to start with the first project, actually, which is not my design, but I'd like to share with you. My lovely wife, she's present here. She's looking at me with so much love. Is the one who is responsible for this wonderful house. And I should say wonderful really because it really is. Sorry for pardon for my English. I suppose you will understand me quite good. And because someone says pictures tell a story more than 1,000 words, I'll start with reading some of the words and showing you pictures. First project is in Bigo. This is a small village in Montenegro. And in front of us is a single family summer house. It's, thank you, in Montenegro. And this is a result of previous cooperation with the investors from whom the authors have already renovated an old fisherman house nearby. I'm going to show you this. Bigo is a seaside fishing village located in one of the most beautiful natural bays on the Montenegrin coast. The investor bought an adjust plot and the existing 3 stories building, and he collapsed this building just to have a completely free plot to build what you're going to see. The new building is a product of an extension of investors. I'm going to continue with this, showing, yes, on the, how does it work, like this? This is the so-called old renovated building, old fisherman's, and this is the new one. Instead, the new one, we're building similar like this, and now you see the whole composition of 2 buildings. The new building is a product of the extension of investors' needs in terms of accommodation and of so many family members, as well as the day-long habitation in different atmospheres at the actual site. The design of access to the building and its internal organization is a result of terrain configuration, which is actually like this. And you can see there is a difference between approach road and the sea level is more than 20 meters. Landscape design and organizational schema of the house itself is based on the principle of surfaces in the continuous flow of interconnected stairways. It's like this, and on the following pictures it will be more clear to you. Pads and retaining walls, because you see there is almost 3 floors high wall. We use natural materials from the actual site surroundings, as well as a large fiber cement boards. Using these boards, and this is actually over there, we have emphasized the cubical form of the upper floors. My opinion is that this building and the way it was designed, its form, internal organization and relationship to the immediate environment is an immediate response to the eternal challenge of looking for, architects will know this, genius loci. So it goes like this. This is the site, this is the approach road, this is the car, this is the existing building, this is the car parking place, and you enter to the plot and actually to the different levels of the house from this side towards, along the staircases. On the upper floor there is a terrace, and there is one more in the level of living and dining area. This is this downer area, or I should show you this first. Okay, it's a joke with these things, but hopefully I'm gonna win this game. Nevertheless, this is a basement, so-called basement, and you can see that the organization is pretty clear. This is the service area with the Turkish bathroom. This is the kitchenette or kitchen with an extremely big eating table. This is the sitting zone, and below this upper floor, it's a zone to sit protected by the sun. Over there is organized service and also something like a grill, because the owner is a great fisherman. This is the upper floor, and I already showed you approach area terrace, and then there is 2 apartments each with his own bathroom. I follow with the pictures because this is, you can realize what's going on really and how the building is positioned. There is 2 cubical forms. One is this horizontal, and the upper one is turns on the 90 degrees, and it turns to the seaside. You see these supporting walls, which are covered with the natural stone. This is one of the paths which leads to the other to the other houses. This chimney is from the grill, which is one level under. This is the terrace, approaching terrace. You can see the seaside, and sea level is not so far away. Some more images. This is the area of the living and the dining space, connected in the backyard with this, where is this grill area. Some of the views to the neighborhood, and some of the interior space. Jelena used this term "less is more" in a sense to show us the quality of the space, and that's why you can see the surfaces are pretty clean and similar. It's a concrete, natural concrete, and the slabs of granite with the white walls. Some of the views. This is the interior of one of the guest bedrooms. It's absolutely, I mean, totally designed. These are the shadows because, you know, at the Adriatic coast, sun can be very hard. Relationship between the old existing building and new one, they make so-called a composition. This image is, I think, much better. Some of the details which are very carefully designed. These are the external staircase. You are coming from the approaching road. This is the gate which leads to the sea level. It's from material called corten. I suppose everyone knows what is this. Okay, and these are some of the more, and this is the final images of something which I was not the designer, my wife done it. Thank you. The next one is actually the object which is not finished yet. It's going to be in a few, I think, few weeks. And this is the dual housing in Belgrade. What is interesting is, I'll show you that we were dealing with a very small plot. The investor has decided to have two separate residential buildings. Where is the place just for one? With common vehicular access and the garage level. Houses, apartments are organized to the three above ground levels. I'm gonna show you. And one underground level with the service rooms and facilities. Underground doesn't mean just a garage and you can approach from that side. Every house has his own underground level with the facilities like saunas, like Turkish baths, gyms, and etc. The premises are divided into day and night areas, floor by floor. The living room is one of the ground floor. This is this one, and the another one is like this one. It had been oriented on the two sides towards the courtyard and let's say quiet part of the plot, because this is the main road. Similar is with the other house. On the area for the children is the next one, and it's similar to the both of houses. Okay, it's this one, sorry, because actually the investor of one of these houses changed. He switched the second and the third floor, but the organization is like this. You see there is a kids bedroom with one bathroom and the playing area. In the first floor of this apartment is that there is a void, free space. There is a wardrobe and a big and huge bathroom which belongs to the parents' area. On the top floor of, there is a parential suite with a terrace. This is the other one I showed you already. Form of the building is a simple, reduced to the cubicle, and what was a huge task is to divide this plot and as well as the buildings on the very similar way. That means, and we achieved this because both of the houses have exactly the same square meters. Differences between the courtyard area are within 3 square meters, and they were very pleased with this. That means this is one house with the courtyard, and this is the other house with their own courtyard, and this is the approach to the garage level. I insist designing this building to be cubicle, very clean, without many elements, and with the so-called less openings, less windows as it can be. Someone might ask me, what does it mean? How can you live in a shelter? What is it? But it's not like this, and you're gonna see this when I show you some interior pictures. For security reason as well, the part of architecture are these vertical elements, Hunter Douglas product, which are movable and can be closed totally. Then this area, which are behind them, are not visible, either from outside or inside. From this image you can realize actually how small it is, because both of the apartment has no more than 240 square meters. Like I already said, this plot is quite enough for just one family house, but it's not like this. This is the approach for the first apartment, this is the approach to the second one. They had this portal absolutely the same, and related one to another one means that they don't have a direct visual contact. I was faster than the owner of the house, and before he entered, I made some interior pictures. Why is that? Because we make a design of this house in a way that it should be clear, without many elements, but you know, we are just, as an architect, the guys who provide services, and mainly the users are the ones who are actually fitted for their own, the space for their, from the side, or from the reason of their own capabilities or wellness, whatever. And there is one I would like to share with you. Somewhere I read some months ago that Sir Winston Churchill once said that architecture is very interesting, but there is one thing which I should actually say that he has right. First, we design buildings, shape them, and after this, thereafter, the building shaped us. And this is something that really works on a very severe way. These are the ambient from the house. This is the dining area, living space with the kamin and the chimneys, and this is the way to go upstairs. In one part, both of the houses has a double height, so this provide a lot of sun, a lot of air, so-called, and gives an impression that the space is much, much bigger than it really is. These two images show us the way up, and from the ground floor to the first floor, and then from the first floor to the floor where are the kids. You see, we were using mostly two materials on the floor. There is a parquet, wooden material, and on the specific position glass. This is so-called bridge, and through this bridge, the lantern, the upper lights comes all the way from, through the two levels. Yes. We pay special attention about designing these staircases. I would like to have something absolutely light, without concrete, without heavy construction, and it's out from the steel beams. From one side, the glass is a barrier, of course, not allowing something to fall down. On the other side, we make this interesting composition of steel. It is steel ropes, let's say like this. Our photograph make a funny angle by laying on the floor, on the ground floor, and then you have a composition of everything over there. This is the glass bridge, this is the glass staircase, and this is heaven, I suppose. This is the next building. It is in Belgrade, in the central part of the city. This is a mixed-use residential and commercial building. It is located in the old town, in the street full of pre-war urban villas. The idea was to create a building on the corner. This is the eternal theme in the world of architecture, never-ending story, which corresponds the immediate surroundings but also impose its presence. This is the site, this is this Kronska street, and these are the residential buildings. This is actually the plot and the position of the building. The volume and construction, sorry, I made a mistake. The ground floor has a commercial use, while on the upper levels there are one apartment per each floor. The building is equipped to the highest technical and technological standards on the principles of the smart house, so-called smart house, because I think houses cannot be smart. Smart are the designers or the users. The decision was made to keep the existing garden on the ground level. This is this part, a small part, as a part of the cultural, historical and urban heritage of this whole area. The building's form is a simple cube, like a volume. It has been materialized with Swiss pearl fiber cement boards. I'm going to show you this. Actually, I wanted to have a concrete building. Somehow I feel that Japanese and Japan architecture, which is something very, very close to my world, to my way of thinking. Actually, I haven't had time. Although I'm 57 years old, I don't think so that it's going to be due to the different reasons. It's very hard to persuade the investors to think on your, and to follow your way of thinking, and also to find someone, constructor, who's going to build something like you want to have from the pure concrete wall. White color has been chosen by the authors in order to emphasize the sculptural quality of the building. The only author's trick has been made on the final floor with the gentle change of angle, and this changing rhythm of openings to emphasize the corner position of the building. I'm going to show you what does it mean, but firstly, let me explain. There is two approaches to the building. I mean, this is the main entrance with the stairways and the lifts. This is the car lift, and this is the entrance to in the ground floor office space. Next level should be, yes, it appears. You see, there is, like I said already, each floor has just one apartment. The main approach is over there, and this is the living area, as well as the parents' accommodation with bathroom, and there is a working area. Over there is a kitchen, then dining area, and then 2 rooms for the kids. So they had their own independent way. I suppose that the parents cannot control them when they're a little bit older and say, come home at 2 or 3 in the morning. This is the second, the third floor, sorry, which I make a little bit differently, because I'd like to emphasize, like I already said, the finishing floor, which is a little bit on the angle change. It's like this. But more or less, the facilities and the organization are the similar. This is how does it look like. This is this angle point, a small garden in front, like all the other houses. Unlikely you can't see them because of these cars. And this is the small trick we made on the upper floor. Please, yes, this is the view from the narrow streets behind, and then exactly you can see what was my idea, to make a cubical form with a little rectangle. I mean, changing the angle. I tried to manage, and I think I've done it in a proper way, that this simply building with the simple openings brings a new theme. Yes, how does it look like? And then I'm very pleased with this project, but there is a very interesting situation, because half of the professional, that means architects and the guys who are very close to our profession, and my friends, very close friends, says, and they were divided to the half, 50 and 50%. Some of them say, you must be crazy, what was wrong with you to build this kind of, like a refrigerator? And the other guy says, yes, this is the wonderful thing, something absolutely new, fresh. And what should I say? We'll see what time will bring. Maybe the one who were strongly against will change their opinion. Hopefully they are going to do this. If it's not like this, nevertheless, I'm pleased with what I've done, as well as my investors. Some more details. Please, yes. And this is a few pictures from interior. This is the living area. Here you can spot by this light. This is the place for the dining table, and in the background it's a kitchen with all the necessary facilities. This is the kitchen, and what we've done, we were very, let's say, careful about the time which ladies spent at the kitchen, so they shouldn't look only to their pots, or I don't know, to the things which are existing, like this one. They should look also outside, and you can see it's absolutely the same view from the living area and this kitchen as well. This is one of the bathrooms, and this is this. I'm going to show you something. This is residential building, but it's Hexing, it's an investor, and this mixed-use residential and commercial building is a result of bidding activities. After winning the anonymous public architecture competition and preparing all necessary plans and documentations, the actual construction came in place. This is certainly representing the epitome of the dreams come true for architects. You know, you're competing with someone, then you won, and then someone else, either it's an investor or someone else, say, okay, we will not build this, and then you are pretty pissed. Sorry for this word, I can't find more appropriate word. But we were lucky with this. The building represents an interpolation of the existing buildings. You can see from, please, this is actually the position, no? Okay, I'm going to show you over there. This is existing building. This is also existing building, although it's in building phase, but they started much earlier than we started with competition. The volume and construction possibilities were strictly defined, so the authors were left to test their skills and fit the required content. The ground floor and the first 2 floors are commercial use, shops and the offices, while the next 3 levels are residential facilities. I'm going to show this to you, if this gadget works. Yes, it's like this. And maybe the next one will be my study, yes. So this is on the street level small shop. These are 2 dentists and a psychiatrical office. And these are living spaces, next 3 floors. An additional burden for the project was the small footprint on the building, especially the measure of the ground floor. And I'm going to show this to you. Actually, I do not have a ground floor, but this is a typical living space. Why is this? Because at the ground floor was furthermore reduced by the vehicle elevator and the double staircases. Why double? Because according to the local regulations, we have to have a separated, divided staircases for different use. I mean, one for the apartments, another one for the offices. The street facade is a double ventilated and made of alucobond. One thing more is I would like to show you that according to the request of the investor, each of the floors has 2 apartments, and they are organized on a very equal basis. You see, this is 3-room apartments with a living, kitchenette and dining area, and these service facilities. These 2 empty void spaces are actually something which is according to the urban regulars. And then we use this to ventilate facilities like bathrooms and kitchen. Yes, like I already told you, we were using as a material alucobond in a different style, which also emphasized the using of the building. I mean, this is the office space area and this is the living. Actually, I wanted to have some materials close to the wooden outfit, but they were not agree with me, and then we used color alucobond. This is a composed material, which I'm not so pleased with this color, but this is life. Some more images. And the backyard, maybe, yes, you can see the facade is designed in a very similar way, but not so expensive. Okay, I think that will be all. Please, no. This is the relationship with the surrounding buildings. Actually, this one I don't know if still existing, because this is a very, very popular area in the middle of the city, and there is a lot of investment right now. I mean, in building mostly apartment buildings. Some details, these shadows. And this is this. Next, I'm going to present you, and it's growing, as you can see, from one house, one family apartment to the double house, then I have an urban villas, and now I have so-called hippodrome. It's a residential city block built in Kragujevac, a city not so far from Belgrade, it's, let's say, some 100 kilometers. Residential city blocks is by its content a rather simple theme, multi-family housing, and the commercial ground floor. It could be defined as a copy-paste architecture. However, when big numbers get included in the equation, the problems are multiplying. And then, this is my personal, I shouldn't say attitude, it's experience, that with the big themas, there is no big and small thema, sorry, it's a mistake. But when someone says, okay, it's a building, and then you have to achieve some standards and some apartments relating to the needs, like garçonnière, the small one-bedroom apartment, still the three-bedroom apartments, it's easy. You should make one schema and then multiply it. But it's not like this. And everyone who deal with this knows this. A small fact book. This complex has 370 housing units, stretch over 38,000 square meters. It has also 66 commercial units and almost 10,000 square meters of parking underground space. Virtually the entire plot area is a parking space. By forming two parallel elongated cubes, the length of each of these cubes is 100, let me show you something. Yes, it's 118 meters, and wide is about 19.5 meters. This urban development, it's an open urban block, represents a beginning of the new axis from the Queen Mary Boulevard, this is like this, till the Hippodrome. And nowadays, okay, they start with the shopping mall, and nowadays there are the other buildings, except this one, which are now, the works are in process. The design furthermore emphasized this concept by creating a continuous whole of internal courtyards with green areas, pedestrian walks, and also a children playgrounds are as well presented. And now you can see over there, these are two parallel houses, blocks of houses with the access to the ground level where the parking lots. And these are actually the blocks, I mean the organization units in the blocks. So you can approach to the main approach to the buildings are actually from this courtyard, because on the outside area are these shops. The materialization is a result of a limited budget. The entire construction cost about 13 million, which is, when you have in your mind how big is this, it's almost nothing. The only compromise made in the architect's designer's favor was a limited use of SL composite panels, and this is this. Okay, something which I didn't show you is actually the relationship between these two cubical forms, this courtyard close with the buildings, and this is the approach to the garage level. By change of rhythm, I'm going to show you this. These are the elements of facade and the rhythm of playing shadows with these loggias and terrace and the entire surface of the building. Please. Okay. With changing the color, like I already says, we try to manage and to bring so-called power in the different rhythm to something which might be very boring facade. Some more images, details, and we are done with the apartment houses. In front of us is the building, office building called Annex. This is the name of the investor. This is a commercial building with a very interesting conversation of a residential use building to office. And I was very pleased with this. Not what I've done. Of course, I'm pleased with what I've done. It's my work. But I was very pleased when they changed their mind from apartment buildings to an office building. Why is that? I'm going to show you very easily. The proportion of the plot is very problematic. 17 with 51 meters, which is a typical situation for Belgrade urban structure. It was very difficult to organize high-quality functional arrangement of the space, and the building was designed using, and then we decide, okay, this is the approaching level, I'm going to show you, and then we decide to divide this footprint of the building into two different and independent areas. Each of them has, let's say, 250 square meters, but they are absolutely independent, and they are organized in a way that the users, renters, can work very separately. If someone wants, he can renter the whole floor, yes. Also, there is, yes, I try to explain and then I continue. This is the approaching area. You'll see later on by the pictures. This is the hall. This is the lobby, info, and then area with the lifts. Here you approach to the downer level for the garages, which there is 4 of them. And over there in the backyard, we've drawn several offices, but actually there is a wonderful restaurant. Yes, all above ground levels were the same functional, like I told the organization, except of course 2 last that have been converted, and unfortunately I don't have a picture of this, they have been converted into high-end exclusive penthouse for the investors and for his own purpose. Highest quality solutions, let me show you what I mean. Okay, this is the relationship with the street's facades. In surrounding, of course, it's internal. And what did I want to say is these high quality solutions were implemented while selecting construction materials. The facade is designed with the principle of double skin, and you can easily realize that there is on the surfaces there is only glass, and then some 1.5 meters deeper are real facade. In the area between these skins, the terraces with prochrom gitter rust structure were formed, so you can actually go outside. Due to the low height of the street and the large slope, the layered black laminated glass was used perpendicularly on the glass facade, so the building could be perceived and emphasizes in the street. That is what I'll show you. Actually, you cannot realize there is a new building when you're a little bit down on the upper on the street. That's why I decided to make something like this, so it can be seen for a quite distance. Overall, street facade is framed with natural stone. You'll see, not here. It will be on the first one. It's maybe I made a mistake. I didn't show you. Yes. See, you can hear this natural stone, which is this one. Actually, it's a black one from northern countries, Scandinavian countries, and there is a steel fixings coated in aluminium gold colored sheet. These are these horizontal and vertical lines. In this way, contrast and dynamics of the facade has been achieved within otherwise static street plane. All the buildings in surroundings are, let's say, an ordinary buildings, and the investor said, okay, let us make something new. So that were our sorry, answered. I have some more images and I'm done with this. According to the schedule, I'm not too late. I'm going to be faster if it's necessary. And this is the courtyard facade, of course, with the less money. This is the entrance zone with the, yeah, this is the lobby, and this is, we design everything. This is the info pult, and over there is a lift lobby. Some more details, I've already explained it, why I've done it. Next one is an office building, headquarters of Porsche SCGM in Serbia, Crna Gora, when we were a unique country. Nowadays we are just Serbia. This project of an administrative building of Porsche's business system in Serbia, built in Belgrade, is the product to long-standing business relationship, because before this building I've done for the same investor, Porsche GmbH, several buildings in Belgrade and Montenegro, which were actually so-called CE, corporate identity buildings, showrooms for Audi, Porsche, and the other brands from their system. And I'm particularly proud of this commitment, given that the investor with headquarters in Salzburg, Austria, has entire teams of engineers and architects as well. And then Mr. Porsche, I suppose he was very pleased with our relationship, I mean, professional one, asked me if I would like to make a design for their office building. They said, yes, why not? And that was something, you know, with someone with so many experience, they are spread all over the world. And they have their own architect, then asked me, could you please do this for me? And on the end of the day, of the whole, I don't know how many years, but we were in business for some years. They said, okay, my idea, my decision to give to you the design of this building is absolutely correct. And then I was higher than this, now 196. I was more than 2 meters high at that moment. The building is a freestanding on a plot and with no precise conditions from city planners, except the maximum number of floors, ground floor plus 3 levels. As you can see, it is formed as a monolithical, elongated 4-story volume with 1-story annex of increased height. And actually this is this one, and oops, and then the next one you're going to see. This is a position of the building in the absolutely free plot, and this is the organization of the building. So here you can see there is 2 volumes, this one and that one. This is a tall administrative building, one, and the lower one with the space for, this is the lower one, with the space for training and working areas, and also restaurants with the kitchen. This is the entrance area with the double height. And this is outside, it is outside at last, which is a cafe. You can go, you can enter outside due to the smoking reason. One of the frontal part of the building, overall floor space for the management was formed with the exception of the first floor, where are meeting rooms. I'm going to show this to you. It is like this. That means this is a typical floor. At the beginning of the building are the management, and the rest of them are over there. In the middle is staircases with the lifts and the small kitchenette. This is actually the first floor, which is a bit different than the others, because there is a small conference hall directly connected with the lobby. These are my sketches, and while I was trying to find what will be the right designing way to bring out everything what was formed in the so-called task, project task, which has been given from the side of investors. And this is what is the result. There is a big volume, I mean, very simply one, based on this horizontal part of the building. Please. Yes, some of more of my sketches. You see, actually, it's interesting because this is the sketch I made for the very early beginning of designing process of this building, and then some period after, the same angle and the existing building. It's pretty close. These are the part of facade. This is the southern part, and we have to protect the interiors of the sun, which is actually could be in Belgrade very hot, more than 40 degrees Celsius. Some more images. Yes, this is the facade. This is the long one from the side of approach to the building, and I was trying to make a different rhythm, not just an ordinary facade with the aluminium frames, but with these external units of the aluminium, I tried to manage so-called a game. There are some more images, I think, or yes. Yes, I realized this, but somehow my left hand is stronger than my mind, so I can put to this guy, yeah. Okay. The materialization of the building is contemporary, as you can see, in a spirit of automotive industry. It is a structural aluminium facade with the aluminium Hunter Douglas blinds. I already showed this to you. Sinusoidal aluminium sheets and Eternit fiber cement panels. And this is actually the fiber cement panels. I used to be, I picked this in a graphic gray color because it's, I find this elegant and very powerful. Next image is this sinusoid elements, which actually the lower building with the facilities for workshop are dressed with this material. The interior is designed absolutely in the same way, in the same image to the building architecture, and it is the same manner at last. It's monochromatically and with a reduced spectrum of materials. There is only granite or ceramic tiles and carpet. And this is something I'm going to, okay, a little bit more of details of architecture. These are the part of facade. These are the staircases which directly leads from the main lobby to the conference hall. It's made by the glass, the dark triple glass in the black color. This is the approach area, the main lobby, with the sunroof on top, with a lot of lights. And this is an info pult. We designed this pult with a little touch with the automotive industry. These are some sitting areas for the guests, and a night image of the same area. Some of them. And this is the image of the entire entering space with the double volume during the night. And I'm done with this building. This is the game we made with structure of facade. The building which is in front of us is another category. The same one, not the same one, the one we've been judged, and this is reconstruction of the object. Sorry. The building represents a reconstruction of a classical freestanding 2-story family house with a loft that cannot be used. Converting it into object with a classical structural system from its original use to a completely different purpose carries great problems and unknown. What I want to say is, this is the position of the building, and this is how does it look like before I come in. And this is the real result. This is, of course, drawings of facade, the very same facade after intervenes. With the new structure, especially in the final floor, and with the introduction of the new facade layer, it is a crushed silicate block, the building got a brand new purpose as well as appearance. So one cannot recognize actually the one I already showed, what was before and what is after our designing process. This is actually a building of so-called Yugoslav Basketball Association. This is the most medals won association in Serbia. And then when they done it, they call it home of basketball. This is the first time they have their own sitting place. Special attention was paid to a glazed lantern within the roof structure. I'm going to show this to you, with which the central staircases and adjustment corridors were fully lighted. In the interior, the focus was on a simple materialization and shapes with a very intense color spectrum. What does it mean? First, I'm going to show you what's happening, because this was a typical floor and it was apartment building. And then we had to ruin everything. And then it's, again, a typical floor, but now for the office's sake. What they wanted from me is that they would like to have something like a conference room and something where they should teach the coaches, trainers, basketball players, etc. And it was extremely hard. And then I decided to make a so-called fake, and I changed the structure and the angles of the roof. Actually, this height is on the same level, but I changed the construction, so there is a height of 2.5, and then on the end is 3.5 meters in the entire space. And this is the lantern with the light which comes all the way down to the staircases. I have these images, I'm going to show this to you. Okay, this is the entrance area and the part of the staircases with the very colorful images. This is a corridor. We use different ceramic tiles, glazed. Some more of the corridors. And this is what I've done according to their wish to have, and it comes as a very good conference hall. They didn't believe that it can be done and managed, but hopefully we done it. And there is another one, and there is a coffee as well. And I think I'm done with this. Now there's some more of my images. I like to draw with the free hands. I like to be a painter, but my past father, who was a military pilot, said, please be an engineer and you can be a painter as much as you want. Nowadays I'm an engineer, but I'm not a painter. This is what I like to do. Mostly I've done it. So many of them during the phase of researching the task, the project, the designing process, and this is the product of this. Pretty similar. Some more images. And due to the basketball organization, I designed an entrance door. It's closed. Maybe this image doesn't show this well, but this is actually the basketball and this is the basket. Okay, we are just close to the end, hopefully. This is a showroom, and it's goes with our how do we call it? Ambient. Yes, this is the ambient. The engagement from this, what I've done, is a favor to my family friends who are dealers of various brands in watches industry. And what was this? It was, I'm going to show you, and it's the middle of the city. Actually, it was a conversion of the law office into exhibition showroom and a workshop for watches. And then it has become a very big challenge for me. But with the help of the investor, which is very nice when you have this, mostly you don't have this and you have to fight with them because they know much better than you what are their needs and how should they organize, what do they want to have. So in the workshop of watches, with the help of the investors and their support to make a difference, I think then ordinary, the result was a satisfaction for all participants in this game, so-called game. Conceptually, the front part of the showroom, along with the window towards the pedestrian sidewalk, is a public, and I'm going to show it. This is this area, and this is the area of services, and there is a small office along with the toilet, of course, and kitchenette. This is the entrance area. Some more images. What was interesting, I was trying to show them, please, yes. What is interesting, I thought it might be very interesting, and it is, to show the audience and the someone who is in shop, how does it work? I mean, there is so many different small, tiny, and very interesting instruments which the work is, I mean, the repairs for the watches is existing over there. And these two parts are divided with the glass wall with integrated, actually, Zifferblatt. This is what is the main thing for all the watches. This is the exhibit area for the watches. Let me know. This is the entrance. Yes, you can see over there. Actually, the watches are in these boxes with the different colors, and in front of them are the glass. Glass is the main material in this small shop, and it goes from the ground floor, I mean from the floor, sorry, on the wall, and then even on the suspending ceilings, covering the light. The next is going to be something which I'm very proud of it, and this is Belgrade Philharmonic Orchestra. The main characteristic of this building is that this particular building has no facades, and it's building for himself without facade. How can it be? It's crazy, but it's true. The Philharmonic, the only one small part of this is the building, and this is the other building surrounding, and this is a small part which you can approach to the building, and only above this part is a part of facade. Somewhere I think I have an image of this, maybe not, maybe will come, but let me explain what we have done over there. The Philharmonic Hall is known for, it's a very well known, wide through the whole Europe, for its exceptional sound quality, and the greatest challenge was to renovate this space without disrupting the existing quality, since the building had almost no standard facilities, almost nothing, just this exhibition, I mean this playing hall. We had to organize entrance hall, reception decks, room, etc., etc. And I made a small trick, which is actually cannot be seen over there, but it's somewhere here. This is actually the object of the Philharmonic Orchestra, and this was a corridor, house door, which actually no one used. And then I made the decision, I was so-called covered by the manager of these facilities, and we took this and organized as approaching area, took from the city, from no one actually, no one used this, and we organized this as an entering area, entering hall with the desk, with the cafe, and this is the approaching way to the main entrance to the for the spectators. And over there is wardrobe. In the backyard, we organize facilities for conductors and for some instruments. In the interior design with natural Carrara marble, you're going to see this, in Alcantara leather is used as well, finishes, and veneered with the lacquered surfaces like Steinway claviers, made from dark walnut wood from Steinway pianos. And I'm going to show you this. It's like this, it's over there. So you see, this is the Carrara marble and granite tiles, the white one. And then this is Alcantara, which covering actually the whole volume of the orchestra building part. Lighting is Tagetti, and very well-known producer of the light, and was designed in accordance with environments that are separate entires in the house. Acoustic finishes are Hunter Douglas panels, which are combined with the cube, like you will see, extruded volumes. Why it's necessary? Because of the quality of the sound. This is actually approach way. You can go with the staircase, and this is the main entrance. There is a glass gallery which some of the instruments were exposed to be seen, like Stradivarius violin, which has more than 250 years. So these are some images. This is something we made as a frame, and here is 30 centimeters deep slab of marble granite. So the champagne glasses should be placed over there during the pause. This is the main entrance with the cubic info pult, and this is where you can buy a ticket for the entrance to the hall. Some more images of the entrance hall, and this is where is actually this is not a huge space, but when it's the orchestra in full engagement, there is more than 50 musicians over there, and there is a new place for spectators, for visitors. Okay, pardon me for my English. And there is exactly 212 sitting places. I'm a little bit tired. Please notice on your mind, I'm 57 years old, and I work so much, and architects never sleeps. Okay, that's why I'm going to show you something which is actually, and I'm done, trust me. This is the latest Nobel Empire. The latest project developed in the framework of Studio Birovia is a competition project. Why I'm presenting this is because it's a very, we are proud about this, and it's a very hard work, and this is also covering some of our judging process criteria. I mean, we have had this as a reconstruction, and what was the last category? Adrian, help me, please. Heritage, thank you. Heritage. Yeah, this competition project for the reconstruction of the existing building of the museum of the city of Belgrade. This project has been selected as a winning entry in a big anonymous architectural competition. The existing building dates back in 1899 and has been designed by the architect Dimitri Aleko, and primarily it was used as a military academy. Together with the buildings of so-called General Stab, which was partly destroyed in this very well-known bombarding back 1999. I wouldn't like to talk about this no more. It forms a study urban city block all together. I'm going to show you. Yeah, this is like it is. This is where the museum, Belgrade City Museum, will be organized, and this is this whole block. It's a huge building. It's more than 13,000 square meters. The idea of the author was to maintain the existing building, and this is this one, but I'm going to show you what we've done. This is the existing building, and this is a new part we bring to work, so-called to work together with the old facility spaces which are already existing. For this purpose, a new 3-story building, this one, has been designed, which makes an unfilled hall with the existing building separated only by a full length. This is this glazed hallway. Inner courtyard has been devoted for a service roads. This is this inner court, and it's a strange shape, but it's really like this. So you can enter from that point, and this is actually service accesses. So you can approach to the service lifts with the equipments and with the other things. Yes, and then there is also outdoor exhibitions, lapidary, and a small amphitheater for various presentations and events. This should be this one. Museum storages, screenings, workshops, and service spaces are organized as a separate entries. I'm going to show this to you. Okay, this is the basement, but this is something which is interesting. Actually, this is the shape of the building. Previously, I mean, it's still existing. There's a main stairway, which is actually very problematic. And you cannot use this to the whole four floors. So we decided to demolish this part and bring a new one, as well as a panorama lift. And this is the new part of the building, but they are connected with everything which also already existed. The old part of the building retains the existing materialization. It's like this, especially the outside, but inside you're going to see what was planned in the images which follows. The new building is materialized with concrete and cast floors. The existing of lanterns between the two ships, this is existing ship, the new one, and this is this lantern, enables diffuse light and makes a very nice ambience in the interior. How does it look like? Hopefully it's going to look like, you never know. We are dealing with the city government. These guys you never trust. They're not normal investors. This is the second floor. You can see the empty space which connect and divides at the same time different facilities. Another one. These are some section images. Yes, exiting entrance was something like this, and then we decide to demolish these 2 floors and to bring a really, firstly, a sign of the building, and the secondly, to have a nice entrance part. It's over there. And I think some of the images will come. Okay, this is the using flats and how it's organized. I think it's not so interesting for you, but to present what was our idea, you can see over there. This is what we've done in absolutely new stairways and lifts. This is new building, and this is the old one with the openings coated in corten materials. This is the info pult and the gap, and the gap between the old and the new one, as well with the lights from above. The very interesting thing is, and they told to us that that was one of the moments that shows and improved our winning position, is that some of the posts organized so they can be seen from the visitors, which is absolutely new way of thinking about the museology and how does it work. These columns are steel, and they are from the original buildings, and we try to remain them on this very same place and to give them some kind of, you know, specific position. This is so-called new block. It's actually, our proposal is to be from the natural stone with the slabs of stone, natural crushed in a very, very big dimensions. This is the new entrance part. Some more images of the space we would like to create. These are the depots, main entrance. And on the very end, what we says, okay, because this building is so huge, but it's on the angle, I mean in the corridor, the cross of the two very intensive street, and then we decide that we should bring some kind of, not a statement, but to inform the passengers, the tourists, that something is going on, and this is maybe a facade. So that will be all, I promise. Thank you.